everyone, I'm here with Roxana Soica, a family lawyer in Toronto, to discuss the topic of free prenup templates that can be found on the internet. Many of us have access to the internet and we can find all sorts of legal documents there. Roxana, can you tell us what is your opinion about these free prenup templates that can be found online?
Yes, so first of all, the internet is full of these templates. A simple Google search, and you can find everything you want about family law. And in my opinion, that is not good whatsoever. And the issue I have with prenup templates in particular is number one, they might actually work. So they might actually be enforceable, which is not a good idea, and I'll explain to you why. And number two, they most likely will not be enforceable, which is also not a good idea.
Interesting. So tell us about the first scenario. Why is it so bad that they could actually work?
Well, it is very bad if they would work because these prenup templates, the way they are drafted, I do not think the parties really understand what they are entering into, what this contract actually means. There's no way they understand their rights and obligations because they are not consulting with a lawyer. They do not have independent legal advice. These prenup templates have clauses in there that they probably don't know what they mean, that are there and are not even applicable to their situations. And most importantly, imagine the case where there's a prenup that is entered into on the eve of the marriage, and you are someone who really wants for the wedding to go ahead, and then you're just having to sign this agreement because the other party wants you to sign it. You are being pressured to do it. You don't have any financial disclosure. You don't know how your spouse is doing, maybe. I don't know what the situation is, but just that pressure, it would be very, very bad if the agreement would be binding.
So if someone is pressured, wouldn't the agreement be invalidated?
Yes, absolutely. That's a very, very good question. If someone is pressured, that is one factor that the court will consider in setting aside an agreement such as a prenuptial agreement that you find on the internet. However, the issue is that if you sign an agreement, you have a separation, and then you don't abide with time limits to apply to the court to set aside that agreement, then you might as well just be stuck. There's new case law that indicates just that. So it is very concerning. Imagine yourself if you are a mother that has been a stay-at-home mom for 20 years. You have this prenup that you signed. You have been aware of the fact that, okay, this prenup stands, but now you are separated and you know that maybe this prenup is not a good idea, but you just don't do anything about it because maybe you don't have the finances, you don't have the time. Then you might be stuck with getting nothing out of the marriage, and this is very, very unfair to you. And it's also a reason why the courts might set aside the agreement, unconscionability, because it's unconscionable to allow a woman that has been at home for 20 years to not get anything out of the marriage. But it doesn't matter because first you have to pass the limitation test. And after that, you consider whether the agreement is actually binding or not. So that is very, very concerning. And that is why I would be very concerned if the prenup actually stands for a lot of people.
I see. What about the second question, the second situation where the prenup can easily be set aside?
Yes, so now that we're past, let's say we're past that limitation period, I have yet to see a prenup that would actually be enforceable and that couldn't easily be set aside. The reason for that is that there's no financial disclosure, and it's in our legislation that if you do not have proper financial disclosure, if you didn't know your spouse's assets and liabilities, then the agreement could be set aside. Unconscionability is a factor, so if everything in the prenup is one-sided, and usually that's what happens, usually one party wants to protect themselves, then it could be unconscionable. The court could find that it's almost unfair that the agreement stand. Then there is a lot of issues of, as we discussed earlier, the pressure to enter into the agreement, and then just the agreement in general, the wording of it, naming it prenuptial agreement. First of all, that's not the term that we use in Ontario. We use terms for domestic contracts such as marriage contract, cohabitation agreement, and separation agreement. Prenuptial agreement is not a term that we use. And you might find clauses in there that don't even apply to your situation, but you don't know if to leave them there or not. There's just no way for you to ever know if your prenup will be enforceable. And first of all, what everyone should understand is at the starting point is understanding the nature and consequences of the agreement. And there's no way you will understand that without independent legal advice. You will not know your rights or obligations with respect to your family law situation without independent legal advice, which parties do not have when they just download a prenup from the internet and that's it. They just sign it and they think, okay, now we're good to go.
This has been very helpful. Thank you. I'm sure many people can now understand why templates found on the web are not a good idea. So tell us, where can people find you if they have questions?
Yes, first of all, thank you for having me. And I would absolutely recommend for everyone involved in family law proceedings, in a separation, or everyone concerned about their family law situation to obtain a consultation. That is probably the most valuable legal service that you will ever obtain. It is more important than going to a lawyer after everything has been broken. So I recommend consultations for everyone concerned about their family law situation before something actually happens. So having said that, people can find me online at my website, www.rsoicalaw.ca. I also have a YouTube channel, Soica Law Professional Corporation, and they are free to send me an email, call my office. I'm always very happy to speak with potential clients and people that are very concerned and they want some value from their legal services. And I understand that most of those people that want to download prenup templates from the internet, they do not want to speak with a lawyer. And I totally get that. It's a very uncomfortable situation to find yourself in. But having dealt with so many cases where clients came to me with a prenup or a separation agreement that was not valid, and they had to deal with what happened with it after they determined that it was not a good contract, they had to basically repair the situation, and they still ended up coming to a lawyer. So it's probably much better to just have a consultation with a lawyer. And I'm also working on a few templates to make sure that clients have some better material out there than the prenups that are found. So I hope that by providing this information to clients, which I hope to have out very soon in the next few months, they will be a bit more secure about what they should know about their rights. And I hope to teach people in that way as well. But I definitely recommend a consultation as soon as possible.
Wow, that's great information. Thank you so much, and we look forward to having more access to justice.
Thank you again for having me.